Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here. Hope you're well. So now we've got our character sorted in here. So I've got my astronaut. I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see the whole board. Let's center this. We are going to start to change the colour, and we're going to start to change the colour of how Photoshop understands white to black. And we do that by going down here to this bit here next to the masking tool, and you've got a thing called a gradient map. Now the reason we're going to go into the gradient map is because of that final artwork that we're going to produce, which is going to be something like this. So the greens and the blues here that are within this whole picture, this whole art piece, is using a duotone. So duo means two, a two-tone gradient map. So what are we going to do first? Well, we're going to go and load our own gradient maps. We can go and change this by using the gradient map straight away, and I'm going to go and click onto this bar, and I can go and get this. Now yours may look a little bit different. Yours may look grey here, but it's all pretty much the same. Mine might say import, yours might say load. We're going to go and load our own, but it doesn't mean that we can't go and play around with the presets that you have here. You may have a swatch, a set of colours that are already pre-made for you. Okay, so I'm going to go into my reds, I'm going to go and open this up, and I'm going to go and change that, and you can see that underneath, let me move my window out of the way, here my reds are now going into a rose section. So I'm going to go and start to move this backwards and forwards until I get something that I quite like that darkness. And what I'm going to do is just change where the light actually begins. This is going to allow me to tell Photoshop where I want this light to actually begin, because later on we are going to cut this out and put the nebula through it. So we're going to put another layer in here, so don't worry about this all being blacked out and a flat color. So I'm going to go and exit all this. I'm going to go and just undo. There we go, back to this, and get rid of this notification. So here we're going to go into gradient map and get a gradient, but we've got some presets for you. So I'm going to go into here, I'm going to go into my drive, and I should have my Photoshop folder, and inside here I've got your gradients and presets made for you. Here it says duotone gradients. I'm going to open up my duotone gradients. I'm going to go and get this GRD file by doing the same as I always do. I'm going to go and download it to my desktop and put it onto my desktop because I only want it temporarily. Get rid of this notification. I'm going to go back into my Photoshop. So now I've downloaded it. Go into my gradient map. Go and choose my colours like this, and then I can go and import that set of presets. I think there's about 40 of them for you. So yours might say load, mine says import, it says where do you want to get it from. I put it on the desktop. I've got my FX gradients there, and when I've imported them I'll have my duotone gradients here, look, at the bottom. So I can go and open this up, and now I've got some beautiful gradients for you to actually play around with. And the one that is in our example from Spoon Graphics is there, so I can start to play around with this, and you can see that they are a little bit more gentle, especially on the helmet and on the mask, which is going to be really helpful for us when we come to mask that out and cut out and put in a nebula inside it. Okay, so time for you to have a little go yourselves. We're going to mask it, gradient map it, load or import our own from our Google Drive, and start to play around with some beautiful colours for duotone. Your turn. Good luck.